Hollywood once ran on a machine so reliable it felt eternal. Studios greenlit films based on franchise potential, sequels, and star power. The multiplex was the altar, and the opening weekend was God. Blockbuster Video had 9,000 stores and $6 billion in revenue at its peak. Nobody saw the disruption coming, least of all from a DVD by mail startup. In 1997, two men walked into a meeting with an idea the industry laughed at. That idea would eventually make the laughing stop. Reed Hastings founded Netflix after reportedly being fined $40 for a late Blockbuster return. The subscription model was radical. Pay once, watch everything, return nothing. Blockbuster was offered the chance to buy Netflix for $50 million and passed. That decision would become one of the most expensive mistakes in business history. By 2007, Netflix had pivoted to streaming, betting on a future the industry wasn't ready for. The internet became the new projector, and your couch became the new seat. Hollywood still didn't panic, and that was their second mistake. Netflix didn't just deliver content. It studied you while you watched it. Every pause, every rewind, every abandoned series fed a machine learning your desires. Traditional studios relied on focus groups and instinct to greenlight projects. Netflix relied on 200 million subscribers silently voting with their remote controls. House of Cards wasn't a gamble. The algorithm already knew audiences would love it. For the first time in Hollywood history, data outranked the executive's gut. The creative process was being quietly rewired from the inside. Art and algorithm had entered an uneasy, world-changing marriage. In 2013, Netflix dropped all 13 episodes of House of Cards at once and changed television forever. Binge-watching wasn't a habit. Netflix made it an expectation. Stranger Things became a cultural phenomenon built entirely outside the studio system. Netflix was no longer a distributor. It was now a studio, and a powerful one. By 2022, Netflix was spending $17 billion a year on original content. That budget dwarfed what most major studios spent on their entire slates. The gates of Hollywood had been breached from the inside. For a century, the theatrical window was sacred. Films played in cinemas for months before anything else. Netflix shattered that window by releasing films directly to your television. Directors like Martin Scorsese publicly mourned the death of the theatrical experience. The Irishman cost $159 million and premiered on a laptop screen. Then the pandemic arrived and temporarily made Netflix the only cinema left on Earth. Movie theaters lost $32 billion in a single year. When the world reopened, audiences had already rewired their relationship with the screen. The couch had won, and Hollywood's churches were still rebuilding their congregation. Netflix promised filmmakers something Hollywood rarely offered: creative freedom. Alfonso Cuarón made Roma in black and white, in Spanish, about a domestic worker. It won 3 Academy Awards and would never have been greenlit by a traditional studio. But for every Roma, there were 100 forgettable films designed to feed the algorithm. The pressure to produce volume threatened to commodify the very art it claimed to liberate. Writers and directors began questioning whether Netflix was a patron or a production line. The paradox of Netflix is that it expanded creative possibility while also industrializing creativity. Every major studio watched Netflix win and then built their own version of the future. Disney Plus, HBO Max, Peacock, Apple TV. The streaming wars had officially begun. In 2022, Netflix lost subscribers for the first time in a decade. The stock dropped 35% in a single day, wiping out $50 billion in market value. The disruptor was now being disrupted by the industry it had inspired. Password-sharing crackdowns and ad-supported tiers signaled the end of Netflix's idealistic phase. The revolution had become a corporation, and corporations follow the money. Hollywood's revenge was quiet, patient, and delivered through a streaming app. Netflix killed the video store, wounded the multiplex, and reinvented the studio system. It gave a global audience access to stories that never would have reached them before. It also trained us to expect everything, instantly, for almost nothing. The patience required to discover a film, the anticipation, quietly disappeared. What Netflix built is genuinely new. A global storytelling machine without precedent. What it destroyed may be harder to name, but it was real, and it mattered. The question now isn't whether Hollywood survived Netflix. The question is whether what replaced it is something we actually wanted.